Oh.
There you are. Welcome home. What's wrong?
Nothing, just things on my mind. Don't worry about it.
I can't help but worry. We're finally getting the chance to talk, but you don't seem happy. It's like you don't even know how to smile anymore.
Right now, this is the best I can do. Not that I was ever good at it.
It's okay. I can make you smile again. You just have to go back to the days when the future still looked bright.
When was that?
It was that white chocobo story. Why? You said you knew him? Did you call him?
Back before we made all those mistakes. Before we started messing around with gods and Fal'Cie.
It was you who told me. I knew there was something about that
I
chocobo.
thought it was our destiny to fight for the world,
Turns out
the
Ophion was
future.
reincarnated as the angel of Valhalla just to help
But
me.
all those battles, all those struggles, they didn't mean anything in the end.
Souls choose to be reborn. Can they choose when and where? Or
Was
is
it all a mistake?
Oh, finding me was no
Given the journey you went on with
And I know
me?
if Sarah will be reborn and that we'll meet again
Well,
when she
what
is.
else would you...
Even if I can't see her now or talk to her, I know she wants to see me again. She has to.
Welcome back. You look like...
I saw her again. My sister. It looks like God might keep his promise and bring my sister back. She'll be a new Sarah.
New. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that when he resurrects Sarah, it will be a different person? Like a fake?
No, that's not it at all. I just mean, if she's going to be born again, she'll be a new version of her old self.
I don't think you're being straight with me, are you? You don't think the Sarah you met is the real thing, do you? You think that there's something missing. It's all right. You don't have to say anything. The truth is plain enough to see. Since I came here, I haven't been good at reading people, but I've been practicing on you. But don't worry, I'm on your side. Yours and Sarah's. You know that, right? You only agreed to become the savior because it was your only chance to save Sarah. And that means God has a hold on you.
Thanks for stopping. Thank you.
Require a room?
Get
explore the unknown
out!
together. It's your funeral. The light of your soul is mine. The end is close. For the new world. The end is close. You mentioned you...
It's all the fortune. He would never do that if you want. You know, you and that knee. She goes up on me. He would never do that if you want. No. Wait. It's all the fortune. He would never do that if you want.
Desserts made with melted Cadbury dark milk chocolate. It's a bit grown up.
Right. Get back to your job. Guys, stop it! You want to do this?
I've done what you asked.
I knew you could do it. That's great news for everyone. You'll be an inspiration to my readers. This will make a fantastic article.
I'm not one to preach morality, but doesn't that violate some... First, let's go to the Warren and see if he'll talk.
Who's Rick? The man in the warren with no name. Are you gonna tell Adolf about this?
If everyone's ready, there's something I want to ask him first. Let's go to the Warren and see if he'll talk.
Be careful. I'm good.
Require a room?
Bless you. Require a room?
Come again, anytime.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Public World.
Come again, anytime. Is there an event going on?
This broadcast is brought to you by the Public Morals Office of the Order of
Oh, great.
I want to wear that too.
Now that I have Renal's journal, I know who was behind the murders of his wife and child. You've been running ever since. You even faked your own death.
I knew someone would make me. You got me. So you know everything.
Light.
Yeah, I did it. I killed...
And that's what I'm gonna give him.
Let's get out of here.
Really? Even though something like this could ruin their friendship? Do you
Is
think
Ronaldo
Ronaldo's
prepared for that
after losing his family all
All
over
erasing
again?
those muffins that he loves so much?
so sorry, but I'm out of flour, so I haven't been able to bake today.
May your light show the way.
I hear there's a man who comes out here to read his journal every day.
Time for my rounds.
I found out something else about him too, but I'm not sure you really want to hear it.
I'd like to know, please. I'm done running from the past. I'd even forgotten about the family I once loved. From now on, I'm seeing things for what they really are.
All right, this Reddick, the man who killed your family, he has a stepson. His name, it's Marlon.
What? You mean my Marlon?
What are you going to do? Are you going to inform the Order of this information that's come to light? Or
Guys.
do you want to take matters into your own hands?
You didn't care about it. Is that what you think you mind? I thought we
just like
together.
this.
Yeah, but Red, you're not the only people who are left. We are kin. I would choose to stay and fight.
Imagine what it would be like to find out your father is a killer. You've helped me discover the truth. I have no regrets. Marlon's innocent. What would be the point of burdening me with this sort of knowledge? His smile is what kept me going all this time. His friendship is what saved me. I don't want revenge. I also don't want to be the reason Marlon loses his father.
If that's what you want, I'll respect your wishes. The case has already been closed, and the suspect's declared dead. No reason to bring him back to life now.
Thank you. My family would have wanted it this way. I can almost feel them smiling at me from above. Besides, I wouldn't want anything like this to stop Marlon from baking those delicious muffins of his. I'll continue to chronicle my life in my journal, but only about the precious moments I spent with my wife and daughter. I just want to document my memories. I want to leave proof of their existence.
The scenery today is the same as yesterday, but for Ranulph, nothing is the same. His entire world has changed. The past can never be undone. Yet, he has chosen to exempt a stranger from punishment. He didn't need saving, just someone to remind him of his strength and courage.
Get over
no.
off, cheerful as always.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is father.
Damn, you lost them! Damn it, you've lost them!
Imagine what it would be like to find out your father is a
Welcome
killer.
to our hotel.
You've helped
You
me
need a
discover
room?
the truth. I have no regrets. Marlon's innocent.
Trap!
The point of
You
burdening
fucking
with this
trap!
sort of knowledge.
What? What?
This is what kept me going all this time. His friendship is what saved me. I don't want revenge. I also don't want to be the reason Marlon loses his father.
If that's what you want, I'll respect your
Right now.
wishes.
Right
The case
now.
has already been closed, and the suspect's declared
I've never
dead.
seen him, but that's
No
probably
reason to
because
bring
he's
him
only
back to
here
life
during
now.
the day.
Thank you. My family would have wanted it this way. I can almost feel them smiling at me from above. Besides, I wouldn't want anything like...
Oh no, you lost him again. He's going after 30. He's going after 40 dollars. No, thank you.
Traveler, welcome to our hotel.
I'm so sorry, but I'm out of flowers, so I haven't been able to bake today. Marlon, you're so kind to come all this way just to tell me that. Never mind, I'll just have extras tomorrow.
I have failed.
Light, keep in mind that it's almost time for you to return to the Ark.
Doesn't he ever get tired of reading his journal?
I'm so sorry, but I'm out of flowers, so I haven't been able to bake today.
I'm so sorry, but I'm out of flowers,
You're
so I haven't been able to
come all
bake
this way
today.
just to tell me that. Never mind, I'll
You're
just
so
have extras
kind to
tomorrow.
come all this way just to tell me that. Never mind, I'll just have extras tomorrow. You won't have to wait that long, I promise.
The truth.
I'll be back later.
The cold, harsh,
I've decided to tell him
unforgiving
the
truth of his past.
The cold, unforgiving truth of his past.
He lives right here in Luxurian. Since he committed that crime.
That's a little girl.
Right here in Luxurian. He's been in hiding since he committed that crime.
The man's name
Are you sure?
is Reddick.
Who is he?
His home is in the Warren for
The
obvious
man's name
reasons,
is Reddick.
and I found out something else
His
about
home
him
is
too.
in the Warren for obvious
I'm
reasons.
not sure I really want to
I
hear
found out something else about him
I'd
too.
like to know, please.
But I'm not sure you really want to hear.
Past. I'd even forgotten about the family I once loved.
I'm done running from the past.
Seeing
I've
things
even
for what they
forgotten about
really
the
are.
family I once
All right,
loved.
this Reddick,
I'm seeing
the
things
man
for
who
what they
killed your
really are.
family, he has a stepson.
This Reddick,
His name,
the man who killed your family,
it's
he has a
Marlon.
stepson. His name, it's Marlon.
My Marlon?
What are you going to do? Are you going to inform the order of
My
this
Marlon?
information that's
You
come to
know
light?
she-
What are you going to do?
When they shoot
Do
out
you
that
want to
extra,
explain the order of
shoot
the
out that
information
extra.
that's come to light? Or do you want to take matters into your own hands?
Continue spending my days just like
I
this.
heard ya.
I'd rather not do
I
anything.
think you nuts.
I'm gonna continue spending my
I'm out of
days just
here.
like this.
You forgive
Wait.
him?
Wait.
We have a few days left.
You forgive him?
What it would be like to
Why?
find out your father
But I
is a
seen the
killer.
girl then.
You've helped me discover the truth.
Imagine what it would be like to find out your father is a
Marlon's
killer.
innocent.
You've helped me discover the truth.
He was one of them.
This sort of knowledge.
One of the demons.
Marlon's innocent.
Father.
That's what kept me going
What
all
would be
this
the point
time.
of burdening
His
me with this
friendship
sort of
is what
knowledge?
saved me. I don't want
Marlon kept
revenge.
me going all this
I
time.
also don't
His
want to be the
friendship is
reason
what saved
Marlon
me.
loses his father.
I don't want revenge.
If that's what you
I
want.
also don't want to be the
respect your
reason
wishes.
Marlon loses his
The case has
father.
already been closed, and the suspect
If
is
that's what you
declared
want,
dead.
I'll
No
respect your
reason to
wishes.
bring it
The
back to
case
life.
has already been closed and the suspect is declared dead.
This way.
No reason to bring him back to life now.
Thank you. I would want to get this
God, just stop it.
Making those
All-
delicious muffins
All
of
the
his.
time.
I wouldn't want anything like this to stop Marlon from baking those delicious muffins of his.
Only about the precious moments I
I'll
spent with
continue
my
to
wife and
chronicle my
daughter.
life in my
I don't
journal,
get the rope.
I just
but
want
only
to
about the
document my
precious
memories.
moments I spent with my
I want
wife and
proof
daughter.
of their existence.
I
The
just want
scenery
to
today
document
is
my
the same
memories.
as yesterday.
I want to
But
leave
for
proof of
Ralph,
their existence.
nothing is the same.
The scenery
His
today is
entire
the same
world
as
has
yesterday,
changed.
but for
The
Renard,
past can never be undone.
nothing is the same.
Yet,
His
he has
entire
chosen
world
to
has
escape
changed.
from
The
punishment.
past can never be
He
undone.
didn't
He didn't need saving, just someone to remind him of his strength and courage.
Get over and off.
Get
Cheerful as
over and
always.
off, cheerful as always.
Stop! 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 Go.
If you need a room, welcome to our hotel. Do you need a room?
Welcome to our hotel. Do you need a room?
Oh shit. No, stop! Stop him! Don't do it! Don't ever die!
You that rules over all life.
No! Day 5 left. Shit.
That life still lingers only for one more day.
The Sainsbury's quality you expect is now price matched at Aldi. Try sweet and crunchy bell peppers for only 42p, with fluffy white rice for just 45p. Find hundreds of Sainsbury's products now price matched at Aldi.
How's life on the surface?
What do you want now?
I've come to help you remember what you lost. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about, okay? You woke up from your crystal sleep with God's voice in your ear. He said you had to be the savior. But part of what made you lightning was missing, leaving a big empty hole in your heart.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It's like I've forgotten something important, something that I need.
Huh? Really? I thought...
Really?
Right, do you understand your role now? You must lift the shackles that bind people's hearts and save their souls. The more souls you save, the more Aradia you can harvest. That is crucial because it means buying the world more time.
It never loses its shine. I will become an eternal epitaph. Your memory will survive for eternity within a crystal.
I've come to help you remember what you lost. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about.
Finally! It's rude to keep people waiting. What's that? She's got something she wants to ask.
You had to be the savior. But part
What
of what
girl?
made you lightning
Are
was
you talking
missing,
about that shadow?
leaving a big empty
No,
hole in
and
your heart.
guess what? It's someone you know.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's
you
how it
can come
feels.
out.
it's like I've forgotten something important, something that I need.
Oh, really?
There
I
are
thought you
people
denied
here.
it.
They want to
But
see
it's
you.
okay.
Stop!
You remember.
Stop!
All your friends.
Why'd you stop it?
Hold on.
Indestructible crystal.
What's going on?
Even in the sea of chaos, it never loses its shine.
That they want to lend a helping hand, but you're too far.
I will
Even
become
though
an
they know
eternal
what you're
epitaph.
really feeling, what you need. They can't
Your
do
memory
anything
will
for you.
survive for
I'm not looking
eternity
for help from
within
anybody.
a crystal too.
Of course you aren't. You're God's
This shall
handpicked
be my
savior, right?
legacy
You don't
and my atonement.
or even family. That's why you can't
But
fight
most of
Sarah
all,
anymore.
my final hope.
Listen, you are the savior. You must gather the souls that still walk upon this dying world and lead them to a new world
You
of
became a tomb
salvation.
for a memory, a moment frozen in
Your
time when
sister's soul
Sarah's
is
soul
invisible
grew
to you,
inside.
and if you cannot see her,
Where do you think
you
Sarah is
cannot
now?
save her.
Yes.
You must
remember now.
ask yourself,
She was there.
will you
My
fight
heart.
God? One
I had
being does
her
not have
memories.
the power to
They were
defeat
inside me.
Venezuela.
I took them
He
into
is
the crystal.
all-powerful.
She was with me
But I'll
then.
find another
We should
power.
have been together the
Something
whole
beyond me,
time.
whatever it takes.
Right?
If it kills
Now
me.
you're catching up. So,
You cannot save anyone,
Sarah's soul.
not even
That's what
Sarah.
I'm missing.
Not as you are.
and you know how to get out, don't you?
You have
When
to
Elsa
save
did when
yourself.
he woke you up to do this thing. Must have your memories too. Trying to make you forget
You
about
listen
it.
to her. She always
So
knows
he
the
had the
truth.
perfect motivation. Or should I say
Right.
hostage?
Not like you. But
He's gonna hold on to
you're
her.
telling me that I'm missing
Right.
something.
Do what he wants.
Oh, I don't know if he thought
Oh,
it out that
yeah?
far.
Haven't you figured it
He's
out?
not very good with human emotions, that god of yours.
I
Maybe he
swear,
just took
sometimes
her
I lose
soul
my
and let
faith
it
in
be
you.
swallowed up by
You don't
the
even know the
chaos.
first thing about your own
But he
soul that you
promised
think
me.
you can fight God himself.
He said
I
as
don't
long
think
as I
I've
did
ever
what I
met
was told,
anyone
he'd
so
bring Sarah
different.
back to me.
If you know it
If
all,
he
then
lied,
tell me.
then I don't care
What
if
is
he
it
is
I'm
a
missing?
god. I'll destroy him.
It doesn't look like that. It doesn't mean a thing if you can't figure it out on your own.
Well, that looked nice.
Well, I wouldn't bet against me. I might have found a way to shut him down. A
But
last
how?
resort if all else fails.
Oh, you've been brewing up contingency plans. Sneaky lightning. Very sneaky.
I haven't made up my mind yet. This world is finished. Soon it'll be gone forever. And Benevelsa is the only one who can build us a new one. When he's done, then I'll decide.
Light,
Still,
can you
you'll
hear
play
me?
his game for as long as it takes to build the new
It's
world.
alright. I'm fine.
Some judgment on him, you'll betray him and
Look,
destroy
I said I'm
him and
fine.
steal the new world
Now
he
just
claimed
drop
to
it,
build.
alright?
Is that your plan?
If you're sure. But you will tell me if something is wrong, won't you,
Taking a
Light?
pawn in your own game? It's audacious. Oh, but little Hope is going to be so disappointed. He really does trust you, you know, and you're going to betray him. Oh, you did think about that, didn't you? You turn on God, you turn on Hope. Are you ready for that? Do you have it in you to fight him? Are you ready?
Oh, no, 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 no. Get him back.
Cadbury Dark Milk. The richest and creamiest chocolate Cadbury has ever made. Now available as desserts. Made with melted Cadbury Dark Milk chocolate. It's a bit grown up. Find the dark milk desserts in the chilled aisle at your local supermarket.
I am the I in light.
I and the I.
To say.
Ow! Just get changed. Ow! Devils. Stop!
This is it, Light. There's no more time left. It's the last day of the world.
Right. Vanille will be getting ready to perform the soul song.
She's going to liberate the dead and release them from their suffering and despair. Hey, Light. When Vanille saves the dead, what'll happen to me?
Hope. What's going on?
What about my soul?
Welcome in.
The light of my life, let it be redeemed at last.
final day?
A lot of time.
Yes, but it's enough for what I want you to do. I detected a previously unknown ruin deep in the dead dunes. Its appearance coincided with the return of the lost time.
Welcome. Welcome to you.
We have the trendy equipment, everyone. Welcome to the... Thanks for dropping in.
I've come to say goodbye.
How did you...
It's too late for me now. I had a job. That was God's eyes and ears. Made to watch over everything you did.
We've got
Now
the
the
fun.
last day is here. And God doesn't need me anymore. I'll just disappear.
Come back soon.
God just doesn't like leaving
See
loose ends.
something?
This was always his plan.
Bonivelza, he's going to just cast you aside?
It's his way. It's harder than I thought it would be. But he still needs you. And you can help the others. Will you do that for me? Vanille intends to go through with the soul song. And throw her life away.
But she won't be the only one who dies. That ceremony is going to destroy all those souls. Yet she has the power to lead them to the new world.
Yes. She doesn't know what she is or what she can do. You have to tell her. I know her. As long as she knows the truth, she'll do the right thing. And then, you'll have a choice to make too.
I hope you can make...
There's no more time left. It's the last day of the world.
Right. Vanille will be getting ready to perform the soul song.
She's going to liberate the dead and release them from their suffering and despair. Hey, Light. When Vanille saves the dead, what'll happen to me?
Hope? What's going on?
What about my soul?
Go from the wildland to the den. It's now open.
You did a fantastical job, my
This is our room.
Require a room?
Room to surprise. fun. Home essentials. Dream rooms made
I've come to say goodbye.
How did you...
I had a job. I was God's eyes and ears. I had to watch over everything you did. Now the last days here. I'll just disappear. God just doesn't like leaving loose ends. This was always his plan.
Benevelza, he's going to just cast you aside?
Sid reigns.
It's his way. It's harder than I
That
thought
was
it would
once a
be.
man's name,
But he
but now
still
it
needs
means
you.
nothing.
And you can help the
His
others.
soul has dissolved
Will you do
into
that
this
for me?
whirl of chaos. I take his
And you
form
intend
as a
to?
convenience, but I'm no more than a puppet.
All right, so who's pulling your strings?
Go
Benevelza?
through with the soul song.
No,
Throw
not
her life
God.
away.
I am the voice
But
of
she won't be the only one who dies. That ceremony is going to destroy all those souls. Yet she has the power to lead them to the new world.
Tell me,
Yes.
Savior,
She
do you
doesn't
know
know
the
what she
ritual
is
they
or
call
what she
soul
can do.
song?
You have to tell her.
Vanille is planning to perform it at the cathedral. She says it'll release the dead from their suffering. I guess that means you.
You'll have a choice to make
Vanille
too.
has been
It'll be your
misled.
only
There
chance
is
to
a
save
truth
Sarah.
she cannot see. The
I've
truth
got to
that
find
lies
her
within
soul
the
if I want to save her.
unseen realm.
And
What do you
the
mean?
truth is,
What truth?
I just can't feel her
You do not
anymore.
understand the role of chaos.
It'll be all
The
right.
chaos
Trust
will
me.
drown
She'll see you. She's watching over you.
when we die.
You make the right choice. You'll find her.
For a short time.
The right choice.
When a man dies,
Tough
his
call
soul
for someone who can't
turns
stop
to
repeating
chaos.
past
The
mistakes.
idea of it, of him,
It'll be
survives
easy.
in that. And
You just have to imagine what kind of
reborn
world Sarah
who
would want.
returns to the living world.
What kind of person she wants you to be.
An unseen
Do that,
power
and
is
the answer will be clear.
all of us.
But that's the problem, don't you see?
Chaos.
Maybe once I knew her well enough to know what she would want. Something's happened to my soul.
Our
I
souls
can't
are
see
made out
people's
of
hearts
chaos.
anymore, not even my
Which is
sister's.
why they return
You
to
don't
it when
have
we
to give
die.
up. Overcome
But they
your
survive
mistakes.
there,
That's the
waiting
key.
for a new
It doesn't
body.
matter how many times you
Like
fail.
you.
If
You could be reborn in the new
so keep
world.
trying.
If the sacred one shows
I'm
us
off
the
to a
way,
bad start. I didn't get the effort to understand you.
Now you kill my
I
son.
didn't
she has
trust
the
you, and
power
instead,
to guide us
I
into
took
the
everything
future
from you.
where we can live again.
She can do what I can't.
That wasn't the
Vanille
real
can
me.
bring salvation to the dead.
There was never someone you should have trusted.
Yes,
It
but
was
she
just a
doesn't
pawn in
know what
God's
she is
game.
capable of. The Order has
sorry.
kept the truth from her.
Why would they lie to her?
At least I've
They
had this
preach
chance to be
salvation.
myself again. Here at the
Only
very
for the
end.
living. The soul
After all that's
will
happened,
destroy us, and
it's
we do
enough.
forget we ever
Do you
existed.
remember when we first met all those centuries ago?
Murder
Do you
on a
remember what you
grand
told me
scale.
then?
You want me to stop it, right?
I'll watch the rain.
Yes, and then we must
I
so she can
couldn't.
lead us to salvation.
Is this what you all want?
It is, but it is not God's will. If you answer our prayer, it will mean defying Benevelza. Those who try to defy the gods end up controlled by them and are destroyed in the end. Like Sid Reigns.
I remember Reigns fought for humanity and he was killed for it, but the spirit that drove him to stand up to the tyranny of the gods didn't die. I kept it with me. Chaos is inalienable. It's unbelievable, and it's the reason that the dead live on in our hearts and minds.
Yes, they will see what those who are alive. If the future is reasonable, and makes it more powerful
Bring me down.
And now you're gonna tell me that it's really impossible to step into. Alright?
no one can control the chaos. anything is possible, find the invisible lines that unite us across life and death. Do that, and you will have all the power you need.
Chaos. It was the key to defeating God. If I wanted to use it, I needed Sarah's help. But Sarah, how can I make you hear me? I reach out with every fiber of my being.
You have the power to guide those souls into the future. I have to get to the cathedral before the ceremony starts.
Into the abyss, if I cry out to you, will you hear me, Sarah? Will you answer? Hold the world aloft. Give me another day.
Are you doing okay, Right. The end is almost here. One more day, and then the destruction of the world will be complete.
Right. And there's no way I can delay it any longer.
No. This is it. You can still carry out your mission as the Savior, but today is your last chance. Tomorrow in the cathedral, Vanille will perform the soul song for the Order, the final rites, when the souls of the dead will be released from their torment and turn to oblivion. And when the clock strikes the hour, it'll mark the end of everything.
It's an ending that not even God has the power to stop.
I'll save you.
Tell me something. You said that the souls of the dead return to the chaos, right? If that's true, then that's where Sarah must be. Her soul is lost out there in the chaos somewhere.
For God, the chaos is an unseen realm. He cannot see inside. And so it follows that he doesn't have the power to find her, as long as she is in the chaos. But he can do something else. He can make her anew.
But then how can she be the real Sarah? The one I know?
Well, don't you trust him? It's true that even with all his power, God cannot extract Sarah's soul from the chaos. But there is another place he might find it. He could take her soul from inside of you.
How would... You're just making things up now.
You always found it hard to trust people. What chance does God have? Look, I'm not saying you will. But if you do decide to turn against him, you should know that I'll always stand with you. You trust me, don't you?
It's enough. Do you remember when we first
Seems
met
like
all
the
those
more I
centuries ago?
search, the further away I get from finding her. I've encountered more than a few ghosts from the past now, talked to souls from the chaos even, but I'm still no closer to finding Sarah. Not even a hint.
I don't know, but perhaps you've done everything you can. Maybe you could have found her already, but something is keeping her from talking to you.
Like she doesn't want to see me? Is that what you're saying?
Of course I don't think that's the case. But it's possible. Perhaps it's because you're too close to each other.
You mean she's out there and can talk to other people, but not me? Tell you what, why don't you go out there and look for her in my place?
I'd like to help, Light, but I can't leave the Ark. How about this? If I happen to die before you do, for whatever reason, I'll make you a promise. I'll try to find her in the chaos. And when I do, I'll find some way for you two to be together again.
So, Hope, you've gone and left me behind.
It really feels like the end now. Soon it'll be over.
The other way around.
It's been dying for 500 years.
I wasn't talking about the world.
Then what?
Never mind. Time is short. Every minute's precious now. Let's not waste any.
I'll save you.
Dirty legs and skin.
What are you doing here?
have a message for you, Kupo. And here it is. No matter what happens, keep your eyes front.
And in the meantime, you've got my back, right?
You've got it, Kupo. It's time for the last battle, Kupo.
It is. At the beginning.
But I think this might be the lost time. We're getting it back, here at the end.
What do you mean?
Remember when I told you about the clocks? I told you how they only count to 12 instead of 13. There used to be 26 hours in a day.
But now there are only 24. 2 hours less. And the clocks changed when the chaos was unleashed. You think that the lost time still existed somewhere?
Yes, through a tear in the fabric of space-time, perhaps. But now it's come back, thanks to you. I think it was the excess Aradia that you harvested. Somehow, you accumulated so much that the distortion in the space-time was repaired, and we got back all those missing hours from the last 12 days.
That's 24 we didn't have.
Better
Which
than a
means
man
we can
around.
live one more
I
day before God
ain't
awakens
never
and the final destruction
gone.
begins. Just the one day. It's not a lot of time.
Yes, but it's enough for what I want you to do. I detected a previously unknown ruin deep
But
in
they
the
gonna make me
It's a
lie.
with the return of the lost time.
In the body, in the rhyme, the rhymes, the rhymes, rhymes.
Just for you. Appreciate it.
There's no more time left. It's the last day of the world.
Right. Camille will be getting ready to perform the soul song.
She's going to liberate the dead and release them from their suffering and despair. Hey, Light. When Vanille saves the dead, what will happen to me?
Hope. What's going on?
What about my soul?
The light of my life, will it be redeemed at last?
You did it! You made someone's prayers come true! It's hard. They wanted you to have this.
Light,
Hope.
I've come to say goodbye.
How did you...
It's too late for me now. I had a job. I was God's eyes and ears, made to watch over everything you did.
Wait, the waves.
Now the last day is here. And God doesn't need me anymore. I'll just disappear. God just doesn't like leaving loose ends. This was always his plan.
But if Elsa, he's going to just cast you aside?
It's his way. It's harder than I thought it would be. But he still needs you, and you can help the others. Will you do that for me? Vanille intends to go through with the soul song. Throw her life away.
But she won't be the only one who dies. That ceremony is going to destroy all those souls, yet she has the power to lead them to the new world.
Yes. She doesn't know what she is, or what she can do. You have to tell her. I know her. As long as she knows the truth, she'll do the right thing. And then,
feel her anymore.
Fortify the kid for the future.
It'll be alright. Trust me. She can see you, and she's been watching over you. When you make the right choice, you'll find her again.
The right choice. Tough call for someone who can't stop repeating past mistakes.
Easy.
Together, we can do this. What's your most valuable?
That's the problem. You see? Something is happening to my soul. I can't see people's hearts anymore, not for my sisters.
You don't have to give up. Work on your mistakes. That's the key. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. You succeed in the end. So keep trying. Okay?
I'm off to a bad start. I didn't make the effort to understand you. I didn't trust you and instead hid everything from you.
That was the right thing to do. That wasn't the way to me. It was the person that you trusted.
I'm sorry.
It's your team now.
I said I had this chance to get myself up. At the very end. After all that's happened. It's enough.
What's your most valuable treasure? Who's the big charm?
Your eyes front. Watch through.
Keep up if you can.
I didn't.
Thanks for waiting. I saw this coming.
I've come to say goodbye.
Darren.
How did you...
It's too late for me now. I had a job. I was God's eyes and ears. We had to watch over everything you did. But now the last day is here. And God doesn't need me anymore. I'll just disappear. God just doesn't like leaving loose ends. This was always his plan.
Velza, he's going to just cast you aside?
It's his way. It's harder than I thought it would be. But he still needs you. Like the others. You do that for me. He intends to go through with the soul.
Together we can do this. What's your most valuable treasure? The light of your soul is mine.
The truth is, I just can't figure it out.
What's your most valuable treasure?
The right choice. Tough call for someone who can't stop repeating past mistakes.
You want to be saved.
That's the problem. Do you see? Maybe once I know well enough to know what you want. Something is happening to my soul. I can't see people's hearts anymore, even for my sisters.
Overcome your mistakes. That's the key. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. You succeed. So keep
The light
trying.
of your soul is mine.
I'm off to a bad start. I didn't make the effort to understand you. I didn't trust you and instead hid everything from you.
No, that was the right thing to do. There wasn't the real me. And he was never someone you should have trusted. He was just a pawn in God's game.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. At least I've had this chance to be myself again. Here at the very end. After all that's happened, it's enough. Do you remember when we first met many centuries ago? Do you remember what you told me then? Keep your eyes front. I'll watch the rear.
But I didn't. I couldn't.
Oh, but you did. More times than you know. As long as you were with me, Light, I didn't have to fear anything. I'm not scared. Not even now. Because you're here.
Hope! So, Hope, you've gone and left me behind. Or was it the other way around? Was it me who left you? I'll save you. What are you doing here?
I just
can't leave you all alone, Kubo. I have a message for you, Kubo. Here it is. No matter what happens, keep your eyes front.
And in the meantime, you've got my back, right?
You got it, Kubo.
Get out of my way!
It's time for the last battle, Kubo.
It is. At the beginning of the final day, Vanille will start to perform the soul song. The ritual will guide the souls of the living to the new world. But the burden will be too much for her. Vanille will die.
She will, Kubo? But that can't happen, Kubo.
She's being used by the Order. She doesn't need to perform the soul song. She has the power to save the souls of the living and dead.
Oh, does that mean she can save Sarah too, Kubo?
I think so. If Hope is telling the truth. If I can grant her wish and make it true, then she'll come back at last. At least that's what he said. But God himself wants Vanille to complete that ceremony. If I stop her, I'll be defying his will. Then I don't know what will happen to Sarah.
I know what Sarah would say, Kubo. She wouldn't hesitate. She'd say do what's right. Go save all the souls.
Yes, I know. She's always been like that. If someone needs saving, she just goes ahead and does it. No matter how dangerous it is to her.
Yeah, just like your big sister, Kubo. And that's why I'm worried about you too, Kubo.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll be fine. I'm going to do what Sarah would want me to do, what she'd tell me to do. I'll make her wish come true, and she'll come back.
This holiday season, sell on Vinted and give a second life to your clothes. Download Vinted.
Returnal has one of the deepest, yet most confusing stories of any game to date. I stated in my review for the game that the story wasn't exactly a strong point, but after a few more hours of playing, finding new tidbits of lore, and even doing some research outside of the game, I pieced together the entire story of Returnal, along with what everything means. Needless to say, once I understood what was happening, it really made me appreciate the game more, and I'm hoping that once you hear what I have to say, you'll also get an understanding and appreciation for it as well. And without any further delay, let's get into it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you, the entire game of Returnal takes place in Celine's head, and everything that she experiences is a comparison to how she is dealing with grief after going through a traumatic experience. The first ending you get in Returnal, after you defeated the final boss Ophion, is pretty cryptic. Celine wanders lower into the depths of an abyss, and she sees a car. Not being able to open it or see inside, she walks past it and discovers this giant Rick and Morty face monster that she's seen before moments after she's died. She asks it if it's the being who brought her here, then the screen goes to black, and we're met with a news scene that shows what appears to be Celine driving with her child, Helios, down a dark road late at night. For those of you who may not have been paying attention, during the scene where you play as the child, if you actually go back up to its room, the door will slam in your face, and you'll see the name Helios posted on your child's bedroom door.
Your soul is going to be
that
mine.
the child's name is in fact Helios. Celine changes the radio station, and this momentary distraction turns into chaos when she looks up and sees an astronaut in the middle of the road. She hears the explosion and runs away off the side of the road. While in the water, Celine catches a glimpse of that creepy Rick and Morty monster earlier, and quickly turns around and reaches for her child in an attempt to get him out. However, for whatever reason, whether she was pulled or swam away to save herself, she is unsuccessful in saving her child and shortly after being hurt. Now after this, Celine returns to Ashford Station's being, and if the player decides to go to the house, they will discover that the basement that has been blocked off previously cannot be entered. Celine goes down there and discovers the illusion, which I will explain a little bit further along, mutters some dialogue, and like before, she wakes up burn the memory of the place down. The player is then tasked with collecting 6 sun-faced stone fragments, 1 in each volume, and upon completion of this task, she places all the pieces together to create a car key. Celine is then forced to go back into the underwater abyss to fight Ophion again, and upon her success, she makes her way back to that car that was there previously, and this time, she's going to take it. At this point, the ending changes, and Celine is met by this creepy woman-like creature in a wheelchair, much like the one we saw in the house earlier. The creature speaks, and its name turns out to be Thea, which for those who took the time to read will know that Thea was Celine's mother, whom she seemed to have a pretty rocky relationship with. The scene changes a little bit, and revelations are made that Celine herself was the one in the astronaut costume that caused the car crash that inadvertently caused the death of her child. The final clip goes back into the perspective of Celine who was driving, and we see her make her way up to the surface of the water before the screen turns to black and we hear her gasp for air and say, "Healers."
Better get ready for the next.
So that's a lot of information to process without any real finite answers, so let's get into what everything means. Like I said earlier, this game relies heavily on symbolism and reading between the lines. The first thing I need to mention is that Celine's character is actually Greek-American, which is made clear in the game in some of the lore. And literally everything in Returnal has some form of Greek name or meaning. Looking into some Greek mythology, I found some interesting comparisons that shed a whole new light on the game, so here we go. To start, in Greek mythology, Celine was the goddess of the moon. Likewise, and in the mythology, her brother was Helios, the god of the sun. Celine's mother in mythology was Thea, just like she was in the game, and her father was actually Hyperion, who, for those that don't remember, was the boss Celine fought who was playing the organ like my boy Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Then we have the 5 bosses of the game, who all have names from mythology as well. There's the first boss, Frike, I believe that's how you pronounce it, who was the spirit of horror. Then we have Ixion, who was basically just a really bad dude that tried to sleep with Zeus's wife, which didn't work out all that well for him. He's actually considered by many to be the father of the half-horse, half-human hybrids that we know as centaurs. Then we have Nemesis, who was the goddess of retribution and revenge. I already mentioned Hyperion, and lastly there's Ophion, who's the final boss, the titan god of the earth, and whose name translates to serpent, which is pretty much a direct representation of the sea monster with tentacles that we got in the game. Oh, and we can't forget about the planet itself, Atropos, who in Greek mythology was the goddess of fate and destiny, or one of the 3 fates depending upon where you look it up. So with all of this information drilled into your heads, here's what officially happened. Celine at some point had a child named Helios. On that dreadful day when the car went off the side of the bridge, Helios died and Celine survived. The astronaut that caused it can be interpreted in a few different ways. Maybe it was a way to let the player know that it was Celine's fault that Helios died. On the ship you actually see that there is a rejection letter from what seemed to be an astronaut program of sorts, so maybe it was supposed to represent a failed dream and the reason that Celine seemed so out of it that night. She was feeling immense guilt, as any parent would, and judging by the pill bottles on the table in the house, she was either taking antidepressants or possibly painkillers as a means to numb the pain. There are also a couple audio logs that sound as if Celine was in some kind of therapy. All of this probably caused her to reminisce on many things in life, including the relationship she had with her mother, which from everything I've heard and heard seemed very strained and even abusive. All of this trauma of Celine's life is packed into her brain, and she creates the story of her as a space explorer who may play as in her head. She actually confirms this theory if you take a look at the Xenoblade tablet at the beginning of the underwater Bible. It reads, "White shadow, ignorant of man. This time I act without thought and reach for the lost child. My negligence is the reason I am here. Shifting black shadows are my guilt and the shape of the astronaut. So when Celine crash lands on Atropos, this is a direct reflection of the car crash where her child died. This is where her sorrow begins and why she can never escape it. You can even see the child's story pocket in certain instances when you come back to the ship. The reason she cannot escape it is because Atropos and everything that takes place there represents the pain she's feeling and how her sorrow is something that she cannot escape. Even the clocks in the house and a certain moment of dialogue all reflect the time 8:36, which is the exact time of the accident. The argument can even be made that each of the biomes that the player explores and each of the bosses that Celine fights are direct representations of a stage of grief that she's overcoming, but that's more of my own personal theory. Nemesis, who is the third and, in my experience, the most difficult boss in the game, was interesting, because after you beat it, there's this weird scene where it seems like Celine was rescued from the planet only to get sent back years later. I feel that this moment was once again showing us, the player, how even though Celine found
I told you to stay out my way!
the pain of losing her child is always there, and it will never truly be gone unless she confronts it head on.
Right.
Ixion was another interesting boss
Put your
Celine
fake
confronts,
in
and I actually have a theory that this represents her father.
What's your problem? We're not your enemy.
And even when she begins the fight, she
You're not my
asks
friend.
if it taught her the song.
You're not my
that's being
friends
played.
either. That's
There's
your
also another
choice.
xenograph
Not
underneath this
our
fight that reads as follows. This endless song, leading out into space, the inescapable ascent through the abyss of self and the planet, where I found Hyperion waiting upon the spire, bound to an organ. I never spoke to him afterwards, or heard his music again. This makes me want to believe that perhaps her father was the one playing an organ at her child's funeral, or maybe even her mother's funeral, and it seems like it was the last time they spoke. Indicating that she was truly left alone and abandoned, which is a direct reflection of her time spent on Africa all alone. So there you have it. Celine was in a terrible car accident that killed her child. This and other terrible circumstances in her life caused her to create this world in her head that represents the tragedy and never-ending cycle of pain that she's experiencing. It took her traveling to the center of the world to discover what the source of this pain was.
What you doing? I told you this is my battle.
She gained her freedom to finally end the cycle.
Couldn't Lisa come chop me up. But we're your friends. I'm the one who. No. You do it! I told you this is my battle! I told you this is my battle! This is not your battle!
This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Returnal! Wow, what a game! Okay, so first of all, let's talk about spoilers. I'm not going to share any story spoilers with you at all. I'm only going to show you the first 2 bosses, none of the rest. I am going to show you 5 out of the 6 biomes because they've already been revealed in trailers. I'm not revealing the final biome, which makes me really sad because it's fucking incredible, but I want you guys to see it for yourself for the first time. So that's the spoiler warning. On to the rest of the review. So look, this is going to be a weird review because I love this game so much and I just started obsessing over its design. Just like thinking about it all the time. You know that meme that's like, I bet he's thinking about other women, and I'm over on the other side of the bed, like, is there a procedure in Eternal's organization or not? That's me, okay? Seriously, I just found this to be such a fascinating game to play through, and now to talk about, because there's no other game like it. I think it's brilliant, but so many of its decisions are going to push people away, and there's going to be so much discussion, not just here in this review, but elsewhere, about whether those decisions were the right decisions. When it comes to Returnal, there's going to be 3 categories of people. There's going to be people like myself who fucking love it. There's going to be people who just have no interest in it because it's not their cup of tea. And then there's going to be this 3rd category of people who want to love it, but they just can't break through the structure, the difficulty, the weirdness, or they just feel like Returnal fundamentally fails to deliver as a roguelike. Believe me, something we're going to talk a lot about. But all of this discussion is very academic, and I don't want it to undermine or confuse or muddy the central message of this review, which is, this game fucking rocks. There was this narrative commentary recently that Sony were risk-averse in their releases, preferring to play things safe and focus on big blockbusters with broad appeal. Returnal is the biggest lol no that Sony could have served up as a response to that narrative. An arcade, roguelike hybrid that asks much of a player and gives little no way to compromise. It's totally unique, punishingly difficult, and a true showcase for all of the PS5's bells and whistles. House Mark have always had a cult following, but they're about to hit the mainstream, baby, because Returnal is some seriously cool shit. let's start by talking about what Returnal is, since I know people still have a lot of questions about that at this point. As I covered in my preview, Returnal is a third-person sci-fi shooter with roguelike and Metroidvania elements. You play as Celine, who has crash-landed on this mysterious planet, and she very quickly becomes aware that she's caught in this Groundhog Day-style loop where every death sends her back to the start of her journey. Unlike Groundhog Day, though, things are a little bit different every time. Each time you return, the area you explore is all jumbled around, so while spaces you explore remain identical, the order in which you explore those spaces changes. The goal of each new biome, of which there are 6, is to survive long enough to reach the end where you'll typically fight a boss and gain access to a new, permanent Metroidvania-style power-up that allows you to access the next biome and also opens up exploration and traversal opportunities in previous biomes. The world that Housemarque have built here in Returnal is astounding. It is so mythic, so monumental, so otherworldly, and so terrifying. Built by a near-extinct alien species, Returnal spaces are littered with machinery and architecture that could never have been designed with humans in mind. It's too large, too hostile, too confusing. To explore space in Returnal is to get the distinct feeling that you just don't belong there. But its hostility doesn't make it any less wondrous to take in. Exploring biomes for the first or second or third time, you'll invariably discover new tile sets that will just force you to stop and look around. The architecture, the skyboxes, the statues, the flora and fauna, it all coalesces to create this hypnotic, dark beauty. There's also a lot of range within these biomes. There's an interesting link between 4 of them, which borrows certain architectural features from each other. But even despite this, each biome is so distinct owing to its color palette, its vegetation, and its level layout. The jump from the narrow, confined starter ruins to the outdoor, endless horizons of the Red Waste is such a stark shift, not only visually, but in terms of the experience of playing the game. You explore differently, use terrain differently, fight differently. Each new zone brings a similar shift, refreshing what it feels like to be playing Returnal. I have a lot of thoughts about Returnal as a roguelike, which we'll definitely talk about at the end, but one thing it definitely gets right is that each biome feels like a fresh new chapter in your journey, rather than just a reskin of space with a few new enemies thrown in. Exploring Returnal's 6 biomes is a process that becomes more rewarding every game, though there are some big diminishing returns that will eventually keep you. Exploration is never about where to go. The map will always clearly mark for you which door leads to your objective, and which door leads you to optional areas containing combat challenges or item pickups. This clarity allows you to pace yourself very easily. If you're pushing for a quick run to the next biome, you know exactly where to go. If you're looking for some farm preparation for the next boss, you'll be able to ensure that you don't miss a single pickup, because the map will tell you which doors to go through, and it will also tell you where the pickups are, like precisely where they are. You may need to figure out how to get to them, but you will always know where the pickups are. As a result, exploration is less about getting lost and problem solving, and more about making decisions. A really good example of this are the various puzzle rooms littered throughout the map. Some of them are traversal-based, offering you the choice to navigate the set obstacles, or not, you just turn around and leave. There are also timed events that pop up, asking you to make quick decisions about which items you might want to pick up before all the platforms close. Again, it's about decision-making, a risk and reward formula that permeates much of the game, including exploration. One thing I loved was the way that the Metroidvania unlocks you obtain open up new exploration opportunities. Each new unlock allows you to do another sweep of every preceding biome, giving you access to entire sections that were previously unreachable. This is really rewarding the first or second time you go through it, but after some time, you bump into the limits of the procedural generation, and things can start to feel quite repetitive. For this reason, it's best to think of Returnal's through a few times in order to learn it, not one The biggest driving force pushing forward in Returnal is the mystery of Celine and how she can escape this corrupted world. This narrative is all fragmented, never giving you long expository cutscenes that spell things out. Its audio files clipped at different points in Celine's life, its vast holographic chambers that tell tales of alien civilizations, its translated alien runes that tell the story of their fall, its flashback sequences or dream sequences or nightmares that finally reframe its past, present, and future. I always love this sort of storytelling. I love looking at the shattered pieces and using my own imagination or problem solving to piece them back together, and Returnal is just that from start to finish. Incidentally, there are multiple endings for the game. I unlocked 2 of them. I've heard about a 3rd from another reviewer, but I'm not sure how to get that, and I think there's one more after that. Either way, Returnal's story is not a one-and-done job. It asks you to return to the experience to peel back more and more layers with additional completions. Without spoiling anything, I will tell you that Returnal's narrative delivers. It's far from the high point of the game, but its reveals will deepen your appreciation of each new biome or monument you discover, and armed with this new knowledge, your subsequent visits to them will hit different. I don't know exactly where to put this next section, so I'm just going to drop it here. Returnal really shows off the power of the PS5. The DualSense controller is really cool tech, but pretty much only Astro's Playroom has made use of it up to this point. Other games use some of its features, like the adaptive triggers, but not really, and the haptic feedback is very much just like old school. Returnal is a PS5 exclusive made by a second-party Sony studio. It was made to be played with the DualSense, and you can tell. The adaptive trigger is the left trigger on the outside, so the vision a little bit, but the arm is simplified for vision to play. The haptic feedback feels absolutely brilliant, with each weapon taking on a distinct feeling in your hands because of the unique feedback that kicks in every time you fire it. There's this one weapon that will fire a walking beam on occasion, and when that kicks in, it just feels so good in your hands because the feedback is communicating the power of that weapon to you better than any sound or visual cue. There's this bungee quote that I always remember, and it's about weapon rebalancing, and it's something along the lines of, we don't always need to buff weapon damage, we can make a weapon feel more powerful just by changing up the sounds. Well, I'd add to that fear, and the DualSense haptic feedback goes a long way to making the tools weapons feel so awesome to use. Load times, there aren't any, for real. Yeah, everything's just instant. Here's an example of fast travel. Yep, I wish I had some more words for this section, but yeah, how many ways can you say there are no load times? Visually, this game is nuts. I'm uploading in non-HDR 1080p 60 FPS. With 4K HDR is really not possible for me recently. The file size becomes unmanageable, at least for me, working with Australian internet, etc. Plus YouTube's compression resolution. Okay? The game you will play on your own PS5, on your 4K TV, especially if it's HDR compatible, will look orders of magnitude better than what you're seeing. It is such a beautiful game, not only because of its density and detail, but because of its lighting. If you didn't know, Returnal is a ray tracing game, and the combination of bouncing off everything, every new combat sequence is this dazzling display of fireworks. Except the fireworks all trying to kill. The cost of these spectacular visuals is high, and it's a price that your PS5 can't afford, or if it can, it just won't happen. Returnal runs at 4K resolution, but it does downscale dynamically, and it does run at 60 FPS, but it has some significant frame drops when the action heats up. These are destructive for 2 reasons. Firstly, when frames drop, motion blur kicks in and kicks in hard. I hate motion blur, I hate it so much, and Returnal uses motion blur to minimize its frame drops. Most games do this, by the way, but it always sucks. Secondly, and more importantly, this game is about really fast reaction times. This becomes harder to play when the action suddenly drops from like 60 FPS to 30 FPS, something like that. Digital Foundry will tell us that. Either way, I noticed this every time in subsections, particularly in the Ice biome. It's not game breaking, but it is game disrupting, and it's a shame to set against what is an otherwise flawless technical showcase. The jewel in Returnal's technical crown is something that we don't talk about much: audio. The audio in this game is incredible. So you might have heard of the PS5's Tempest engine, which is essentially their name for 3D audio, a technology that's pretty common, stuff like Dolby Atmos, etc., but it isn't brought to the world of video games very often. The PS5 has a sound processing chip dedicated to crunching sound data, which means that developers have a lot more bandwidth to play with when it comes to sound, and they have a purpose-built audio format provided by Sony. The tools are all there. Returnal is the first PS5 game to use them properly. There's an overall soundscape that exists within Returnal that is just unmistakably unique. This can sound really dumb, but hear me out. rice bubbles. Snap, crackle, and pop. That is how I would describe this soundscape. It feels so electrifying, like every individual sound can be heard so perfectly as an individual sound, even when it's happening at the same time as like 10 other sounds. You feel like Superman with superhuman hearing, like you can pass the soundscape in a way that mere mortals can't.